Alright, we've got two packages. Begin with the big one. And then we've got this one, which I think is a Mobile Suit Gundam from Right Stuff. Because while I did finally order two things from Crunchyroll, they haven't been delivered yet. But if I remember correctly, there's still one more Gundam thing left to ship. And yeah, that's Gundam. Alright. So let's begin. This is Gundam-san? I think so. A little tired, so having trouble 100% processing right. But, you know, it looks very comical. Super deformed Gundam characters. I hate that plastic that. Look, it's there just loose enough to taunt me. But it's not coming off. Great. Still a little bit there, but let's see. I see a region A. Looks like Japanese with English subtitles only. Assuming there were English subtitles. Because I was looking at video up there, so then... Yeah, there we go. Subtitles English. Alright. There's still some plastic there. That's annoying. Carole and Tuesday, limited edition. Don't know what to think about it. Looks like it's a show about two people who at least do some singing. Well, that's three people there. Well, at least this is a limited edition version. Ah, here we go. We've got details down here. Those details are upside down. So if we do this, I should be better able to read. There's an English dub. Region A, 24 episodes on 3 discs. Just trying to remember if these were the same characters I saw there. Yeah, okay. The light makes it kind of hard to tell, but yeah, that seems to be the case. Anything special about the back here? Just discs 1, 2, and 3. I don't think I have this animated before. Although, Sentai has gotten a lot better at shipping out limited edition versions in a timely fashion. Not that I remember seeing a non-limited edition version, but we got... This is the limited edition book. And I was just looking through it real quickly. I see plenty of a whole mix of stuff. And then finally we've got an insert. Sorry, not an insert. We have a box that contains other extra goodies. Here we've got pins. Here we've got cards. Normally I'd also look at these cards, but I'll be honest, I'm really exhausted right now. So I'm pushing forward, but in a lazy way. I think it can go any of those ways. I think it was actually that way before. Farming life in another world. Not to be confused with farming in another life world. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed this one. I've gone back and thumbed through it and enjoyed actually rewatching bits and pieces of it. It's pleasant. Maybe not the most exciting thing per se, but I was pleased by it. Sorry, that hesitation was... I almost thought, oh yeah, I do see a little red dot on my camera. Don't know how I've never not noticed it before. This has an English dub, Blu-ray region A, 12 episodes, 2 discs, 1 life, 1 meeting. Let's get this disc back in its sleep. Alright. Next up, we have My Hero Academia Season 6, is that part 1? That's a part 1. I do believe it's part 2 that has the limited edition version, because I didn't see the limited edition version of this. Let's go to the back here. Let's see, that's NTC 124 and regions A and B. So let's see, audio, that's English dub. The ones within go all out. Let's see, I was just trying to think what my entire opinion was on this season. I do remember it had a lot of really great parts. Let's see. So that's Blu-ray 1, Blu-ray 2, DVD 1, DVD 2, a little upside down, DVD 3. Season 4 OVA. Interesting. And yeah. Comic panel stuff. And then last but not least, Masaki Yuasa 5 films. Let's start taking this off and taking a peek back. That rainbow just goes all around. Mind Game, The Night Is Short, Walk On Girl, Blue Over the Wall, Ride Your Wave, Inuo. Lots of special features. Just peek at that. Let's see, I see a region A down there. Let's see, audio, Japanese, subtitles, English, French, and Spanish. Okay, so that first one is Japanese with subtitles only. The second one has an English dub. English, SDH, and French. Let's see. Third one has English and French dubs. Interesting. Was the first one only English dubbed? Sorry, the second one English, Japanese. Okay, then the fourth one English, Japanese, English, SDH, Spanish, and French. And then the last one English, Japanese, another English, Spanish. Interesting. So for people interested in Spanish and French, I guess this is not going to completely have everything y'all might want. Not subtitles for everything, not dubs for everything. Interesting. Yeah, let's do that. I feel like this is the 5 films. And we're going to very carefully see, that one has bonus features. Woo. That's Inuho, Blue Over the Wall, Red Wave, Mind Game. I definitely have gotten Mind Game before. That one's the font, the title looks familiar. I'm not sure about everything else. Could be. flipping through the book, I thought I saw what maybe immediately strikes me as potentially Mind Break, but I'm not sure. Okay, we have a poster. Okay. Shows all 5 of those. Interesting. Now let's see if we can put this back here. Well, it's definitely a Strange update, but here's this week's physical anime collection update. Yeah, Merry Christmas, y'all. It's still Christmas for me here, but for y'all, you know, since I upload this the day after I record it, it should be the day after Christmas, and hopefully y'all had a nice one. Whether or not you celebrate it, you know, if you celebrate it, hopefully you got whatever is good for that. Either the good food, good gifts, or good time with your family. I know I kind of just like to use that as an excuse to chillax, not do much. Hopefully I don't burden my parents too much. I'm sure they don't feel burdened at all. As in, like, they love to see any of their kids. You know, I'm old, they're even older. They get to see their nephews a whole lot, but, you know, I think they appreciate their sons showing up and hanging out with them. But anyways, y'all heard me call it the physical anime collection update. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for that's what I'm going to be calling it next year. So the title of this is still Anime DVD Collection Update, and fortunately enough we actually did have some DVD here. It's mostly Blu-ray still, but you know, again, I'm updating it, and since, you know, I haven't heard it otherwise, if you posted a comment to my YouTube and I missed it, that would surprise me a little bit, but wouldn't be out of the question. But yeah, anyways, you know, plan is to update it. If you're wondering where Christmas presents are, you know, I got a good number of them. I guess I'm just not trying to figure out how to show them. It's whatever. You know, like, some of the neater things I got, I guess, at least neat immediately, are stuff to help organize suits, because after the holiday party, and now I have more ties than I need, and my suits are like, okay, how do I organize these so that I can potentially better make this work again in the future? You know, my parents went with that. Now, they didn't get me one thing that, again, I'm not sure how easily they could get me it, like a coat rack or something like that, that I could temporarily hang something on while I work on it, hang stuff up on it. You know, I've got places in here where I can do that. It's just not very stable, like door frames sort of stuff. So, you know, I've still got things to figure out there, but, you know, tie rack, some neat fancy hangers, some suit bags. You know, I've had some temporary ones that were given to me by places I bought the suits from. They've I guess they've not maintained themselves over time, so now I can transfer some of the suits into these and ties into things, and, you know, start organizing that stuff. But, you know, there's plenty of other great things. For example, you know, they also gave me an ice cream scoop, which might not seem like much, but, you know, when you get old and you have everything and they're just trying random stuff, it's a neat scoop. The only problem is I don't buy ice cream in that big of a tub for which to use such a scoop, but I'll figure that out. But there's other neat things, like my friend got me a bunch of tabletop games, including Wingspan, which I do believe is a very well-known, very something. There's also a cooperative one called That's Clover or something like that. We ended up not taking a look at it. He got me some Magic cards. I decided not to show them in the video because I didn't want to look that closely at itty-bitty text. It's hard enough with the things, and I'm going to have to fire up some anime to watch some subtitled stuff. Lots of other little food things. Oh, yeah, I got a Monty Python and the Holy Grail Black Knight stuffed figure, which is kind of funny. The arms and legs do come off. Well, I've confirmed the arms do. Pretty sure the legs do as well. So I'll have to play with that. Not sure where I'm going to put it, but that's kind of a fun thing to have. Let's see. Not sure if I have anything else to talk about. So let's get into anime I've watched for anybody that watches this section and cares about that part. So with my friend, dub version of Goblin Slayer Season 3, Episode 10, again, just kind of liking how it flowed and set up. Definitely the best arc of the season. I mean, it's just only a 3-arc season, so maybe that doesn't seem like much. And I'm not sure that it as an arc is the best at Demon Slayer or Goblin Slayer's best, but it's a good setup for the arc, and for the end of this arc, pretty fun stuff. Again, as I said, I think there's an element of this that's definitely, we're needing to see Priestess as a character grow, and I think it did a pretty good job of balancing that with, and here's Goblin Slayer coming up with a kind of crazy idea. They did some pretty crazy stuff. If there's any complaint I have, it feels like it ended without us kind of getting to see I guess the proper after effects of the stuff, but in terms of the growth of other characters, it was pretty great. And I think part of the reason we walk away from it okay with what it's done is there's some part of us that are going to think, okay, yeah, he might have chosen not to get a reward for some of the things he did in the quest, just the goblin slaying part. But there's definitely people that are nodding, saying these people are pretty great. So kudos to everybody, including our titular character, Goblin Slayer. So overall, season 2 was okay. Maybe not as awesome as season 1, but not bad. If the worst it has is just maybe for some people they'd be like, this wasn't quite as awesome as season 1. That's okay. It may be hard to capture that lightning back in the bottle. And I don't think that's the exact right way to phrase it, but whatever, I'm too tired. Rising of the Shield Hero, so dub, Season 3, Episode 10. Which okay stuff. But what about what happened in the episode that I watched? The latest episode 12 that ended this season? Yeah, it's going to be right there. This list is beginning to shrink. It's almost like a lot of these seasons are ending. I remember... Okay, yeah. Season 3, Episode 12 started pissing me off. It's like, this is some of the dumb shit that made me not like Season 2, and it was annoying that it started happening at the end of Season 3. For a while, I actually paused it a lot of times. I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this. Jesus Christ. But then, a few seconds later, it acknowledged its own stupidity, and the implications of that stuff is just like, okay, cool. Now, unfortunately, show, you've just made me agree with my own earlier position that, I don't know, they introduced a country of people that I honestly wonder if they should just all be nuked from orbit. Just annihilate the entire country. But there's a part of me that also thinks maybe there was another reason for it, and it was intended to intentionally set something up, maybe non-malicious, but maybe a little, okay, maybe we needed to get the attention of the Shield Hero or something like that. And I guess we'll have to see whenever Season 4 happens. So, Season 3 didn't end in a way where I'm like, there's no way I'm going to want to watch Season 4. I'm still more up for watching Season 4 than I was for watching Season 3 at the end of Season 2. It's definitely not as great as originally was, but I guess we're waiting to see what it's about to do. Certain thoughts I've had that I don't feel like I can talk about here, because they're potentially spoiler, but, they might not be. But, overall, I guess it was an okay third season. Maybe not great. I'd argue that it'd be hard to call it great. There are people who probably enjoyed it, and for them, saying it's good, that, I could agree with that, I would just be a little concerned for somebody that thought it was great, because, again, there's a lot of problems with it, many of which I've complained about multiple times because I've rewatched it with my friend, but, yeah, okay. Let's see. Helk, I watched episodes 21 through 24, and I was a little bit worried that as it got closer to the end of 24, I'm like, this isn't about to do a really stupid ending, is it? And no, I think it's more of a season finale. So season 1 over, which worked out good. There were some moments in it that I thought were actually rather touching. I'm like, yeah, some of the stuff I want to see. This is why I wanted to see Helk and Anne. Again, her name wasn't Anne, but Anne for management. That's just it's catchy. So, you know, overall, these episodes were fine. I guess one of the things that had me not wanting to watch 21 and then continue from there was Phase 2. It's like, I don't want to see Phase 2 stuff. I don't want to see this show pretending it's smarter than maybe it actually is. I mean, maybe it says smart, maybe it's fine. But then the Phase 2 concept was like, oh, okay, that's interesting and not too bad. And overall, I'd say it came together pretty well. I'm not caught up on the Saint's Magic Powers Omnipotent. I do know there's at least 2 episodes, and if there's a 3rd episode, then I guess I'll be focusing on finishing that stuff, some of that stuff this week. Eminence and Shadow, season 2, episode 32. Holy shit! I'm not even quite sure how to explain what happened in this episode without spoiling it, if anybody hasn't started the season. But holy shit. It gave a lot of exposition, and the way it did it was a little, you know, not the most ideal, but kind of comical, and it's like, yeah, sure, how much of this do I need to absolutely remember and make sure of it? With Eminence and Shadow, it's been very watchable because sometimes you haven't had to care about that stuff in too much detail. You know, some of the characters care, but our main character doesn't, and his actions don't, and so it's enjoyable enough to watch without having to worry about that. But then they did a twist and a twist and a twist that's like, man, no, holy shit. Is season 3 out yet? Because definitely want season 3. Because at this point, my mind is a little bit blown. I'll be honest, my mind is a little blown. So, good end to the 2nd season. Let's see. My daughter left the nest and returned an S-Rank adventurer, episode 13. Some pleasant stuff happened there. Character interactions that I wanted to see happen, ones I didn't expect that I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad that those happened. Overall, pretty pleasant. I think a finale to the season. Series isn't over yet. But now I'm a bit curious to see more of it. So I would be looking forward to another season if it came out. Or if this is only the first core and another core is continuing, then that would be nice. But I didn't think that was the case because it didn't look like it was saying it was resuming on next season or whatever. But yeah. Dr. Stone, season 3, episode 22. Brought an end to this season, and an interesting plan, steps forward, and all that stuff for, okay, here's what it's going to do next, and this is why our characters aren't OP yet. Good stuff. Definitely curious to see how they will execute season 4, because the way season 3 ended, it feels like season 4 has to be executed in a very different way. So yeah, nice end to the 3rd season, I would say. Let's see, I didn't catch up on Kingdoms of Ruins. Free Beyond Journey's End, episode 16. What happened in this episode? This one was one of those just nice to watch episodes. I think they... that's right, they did set that up at the very end of the episode, so kind of curious what the next one's going to bring us. You know, it's been a great series. This one, I wouldn't say it's the greatest episode, but it's definitely one of those that's just very nice and pleasant and building at the same time. Just a overall nice episode. Let me see. I ended up not watching the latest episode of The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. I believe, yeah. So, The Faraway Paladin, Season 2, Episode 12. I do believe they established this was the end of that season, based on the way they ended the end of the episode. And I would say, overall, it worked pretty well. The action, I think, was okay. I think there's one part of it I kind of missed, but I've been exhausted and... Oh, that was only 2 days ago. Yeah. Well... Oh, Jesus, sorry. Well, good enough stuff. I really enjoyed the second season. Butoreba, the story of a man turned into a pig, episodes 10 and 11. I guess, was it that I didn't watch 10 last week, or it didn't? But anyways, it's 2 episodes. I think I just didn't watch it in time. I might have watched it either after I recorded the video or the day after. One of those two. And I have to say that the contents of what happened are pretty fine. It's kind of revealing a lot of the stuff. You know, it's not setting itself up where it sounds like it'll leave us hanging at the end of the season. I believe there's one more episode, probably. Could be 2, I don't know. But probably one more episode. And then I think we might have a story with some interesting closure to it, because it's set up something that's just like, okay, this is very where this show is going to be. Interesting. Some hopeful thoughts, I suppose. And so basically, even though it has a rough start, it might have a decent ending. I Shall Survive Using Potions, episode 12. Let's see. Yes, some stuff that had been set up over an episode or 2 ago that has finally come to a season-ending fruition. I do have one complaint about it, in that it kind of established, oh yeah, so soldiers, they're not going to have soldier's foot syndrome. Well, not this current generation of soldiers, but, you know, in a decade or so, probably 2 decades, yeah. I don't know, it's like they're going to have soldiers that have this thing, and then they don't know what it is, because it's been 2 decades since anybody had it. Oh, well, somebody has it, it's in their records, but I don't know, it seems very weird. But, you know, it's in line with the show being pseudo-deep. Like, it's touching on concepts that on their own could be deep, but it's not executing them in a way that's actually deep, I would say. It's not bad, but yeah, it is what it is. So, overall, it was an okay ending to it, because it gave a big thing and then ended it, and it's like, okay, now it's going to go on to the next thing, if there's ever another season, which I guess would be fine. Tear Moon Empire, episode 12. I do believe this at least ended the season, if not the series. It's really difficult to say, because I could see them choosing to do another season. It just doesn't seem like they should. Mostly because if they do, they've gone past the point of the premise of the show having any idea whatsoever. It ended in a very Tear Moon Empire way. So if you know the personality and you kind of saw what it was setting up, you're like, okay, yeah, this isn't out of line for how I would have expected it to tonally finish. But what beyond that would I have to think about it? I'm not really sure. Yeah. I'm not sure. You know, it was okay. You know, looking back on it for me, I think the most powerful things of that series were definitely its original premise, and also, you know, some of its execution of that original premise in the first episode, but also the dancing episode, the dancing scene I mentioned in that one dancing episode. Interesting stuff. I still haven't caught up on Spy Family yet, so that should kind of tell you that I'm mostly dealing with low energy levels. Kind of want to. Like, I have a 2024 calendar candidate here, but I also ordered a Spy Family one, and I'll decide which I'm going to use when the Spy Family one. So it shows you that I'm not giving up on the show in any way, shape, or form. The fact that Spy Family, of all things, I didn't feel like I had the energy to do is a thing. I did finish a Returner's Magic Should Be Special, episode 12. So cool stuff happened. I'd say it was an okay fight, maybe a good fight. My biggest problem with it is you kind of get a somewhat of an impression of some of the, I guess, rules of the combat, and the stakes are there, so it doesn't feel fake per se. But I guess it feels like it's hard to get a full grasp of what our main character is actually doing, because the show hasn't really explained it. And that doesn't necessarily mean sit down and tell us words. It just means that, okay, we don't exactly understand what it means for him and this other character to fight, and there's big blows, and there's important things, and neat things, and thought-provoking things that happen. But it feels like there's something missing. But I am glad that by the end of this season it had gotten back on track in terms of, you know, what it had set up at the very beginning. Which I guess is an interesting way of looking at things and saying, yeah, not everything is going to be awesome. I mean, it begins with a very simple premise that gives you a reason to continue watching. You know, it's good because of that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to execute on that perfectly well. And then last but not least, there's Dead Mount Death Play episode 24, which I would say was okay. It helped that, you know, this was a season finale episode, and it had a focus, and that focus was on our main character. And the stuff that happened there was highly related to our main character and their direct friends, and so it didn't cut away as much as some of the other episodes, and what it ended with is just fine. It's implying, you know, there's probably more seasons to come if they feel like making more, and, you know, I would be okay with that. Just focus on our characters when it's time to focus on our characters. And don't try to weave it in, and don't spend too much time with side characters that maybe drive the plot, but, you know, they're not as interesting as our main characters. Yeah. That would be my hope. I probably wouldn't get it. We'll see if I watch it when it happens. Sorry, excuse me. Anything else to talk about? I'm sure. I'm not sure if there's anything to mention in Dead by Daylight. Pokemon. So the Pokemon DLC, I'm finally at the part where I've gotten, I think, all but 2 Pokemon in the Pokédex. And now I'm like, alright, time to take on these gym leaders. And I guess I'm taking on the dragon guy first and realizing, oh, this is a very tricky challenge to set up. I was kind of hoping to just be brainless through it at my parents' place. You know, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just, you know, do some Pokemon and make some progress in the DLC. But now they're requiring me to actually think about stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't do that. I don't even have the energy to practice solving my 4x4. It's not that impressive. I mean, it's stuff to learn, but it's not that impressive, so don't think much about it that I learned how to solve those. Instead, the point is, you know, I kind of do that when I'm thinking about other things sometimes. I guess to kind of keep the brain active, but I don't have the energy to even try to do that right now. Instead, I have to start scratching my head and making decisions on kind of team building. How much team building do I want to spend on this? How much do I want to spend using resources that would normally be used to build raid Pokemon on these Pokemon? And the answer is I'll probably... Well, the saying goes, even a lion hunts a rabbit with all of its might, or something like that. So, you know, I'm going to try to lion it. But otherwise, yeah, you know, it took me a while to get all those Pokemon because, yeah, you do have some version exclusives between the Scarlet and Violet versions of the DLC. And obviously I have both copies of the game. I have my Scarlet just behind the computer over here. But in order to get the 2 Scarlet Paradox Pokemon introduced, I had to catch... I had to have 200 Pokemon caught in the new DLC's Pokédex. And I got the vast majority of that by trading back and forth between my two games. You know, just get credit that way. Simple enough. Then when I fired up to finally do that, I'm like, oh, I never actually did the quest in the first DLC that triggers it, so I had to go back and do that one. And I still haven't finished the first DLC on Scarlet. You know, maybe I'll worry about that in a bit. Well, we'll have to see. But the point is, you know, I had to go back there. It's like, oh, and in order to kick that one off, I had to discover 150 or catch 150 Pokemon in the Kitakami Dex. So, you know, I went to transferring again, and then yesterday I caught myself the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon. Good stuff, I guess. I do appreciate what the game is making me think about doing. It's just unfortunate that it doesn't mean I get to be finished with Pokemon. And the timing is a little... Well, I mean, I wouldn't be finished, but it would give me a chance to get one of the 2 remaining Pokemon and caught in my Pokédex. But, oh well. I guess I'll have to figure that out after I've recorded this video. So yeah, once again, next week will be the January 2nd when I upload this video. I'll record it on January 1st anyways, so I'll be updating the template for my original video. But again, I'll be calling this the physical anime collection update. Unless somebody comes by and has a better suggestion. You know, that's just the plan for now. And I don't think anybody has, but if you have and I missed, feel free to scream at me. Scream. Other than that, I guess that's everything. Y'all, have a Happy New Year.